Well, Diddy is just a working class stiff while he's at Fort Dix.
So when you're at a prison and somebody says, you read any good books lately, Diddy is the answer.
He's the guy to go to because we got video of him.
The footage hit the underground channels like a bomb. No warning, no explanation, just a grainy clip bleeding into the digital void. And the moment those first chaotic frames appeared,
At Fort Dix, reporting for work in the library, where he is making recommendations and handing out different movies and books for his fellow inmates.
I'm really fascinated just by the library
But
itself.
you're seeing him here. This is him reporting to work, taking off his jacket, taking off his scarf, and settling in for a day on the job.
It looks like a public school library.
Yeah.
It's
This was the chapel, and this is the media library in the chapel, which is where Diddy's currently working. He's working in a Life Connections program, which is an 18-month program that helps rehab people, get them closer to spirituality, to charity groups, and with that, it will shorten his sentence. But in this media library, he helps inmates with religious material, rent out movies, that kind of stuff. You see him pushing a
really
cart
interesting
with a TV on it.
Yeah, I mean, he was in the laundry room when he first got there.
Yeah,
So this got to be
his first
This got to
assignment.
be a promotion.
Yeah.
It feels like a promotion. It feels like maybe he tried the lunchroom and put in a request for something different.
Yeah, it does
I mean,
believe
he is a
it does
media
sound like
mogul.
he used maybe possibly some connections to get a better job.
So here's my question. I mean, that's the story.
Yeah.
My question is this. So Diddy had a certain persona before he got in all this trouble. And now he looks very different, very much older.
Yes.
When he gets out,
Does he?
Yes.
Does he join Hair Club for Men?
no, the Just for Men Club.
Just
he
for
still
Men?
has hair.
I don't know what it's called. I mean, you tell me. What? I'm sorry.
I mean,
Just
every
for
other
Men
photo,
Club.
this is the first we've seen him without that hat on, and the first we've seen actual footage of his hair. So I feel like he's not proud of it. He wears that hat a lot. So I
No,
feel
we
like,
saw him
Also, it's
without.
cold.
We saw him without a hat.
We've seen him
No,
without it, but also it was cold with the photos we had before he was out in the yard.
Yeah.
Could have been cold, but
So what does he do?
what does he do?
Yeah,
I think he
does
dyes
he or
it.
doesn't he?
I think he
I
does.
mean, that's 2 years, 2.5 years from now.
I know. I'm just asking.
I don't know what the hell he's gonna do.
I mean,
Guess it depends on what
you've
his-
been public relations adjacent, dealing with all
Right.
sorts of people for
It depends
years.
on what he wants to do when he gets out. Is he going to try to get back into show business? Is he going to be actively involved with artists? Then yeah, then he might. Depend.
I was
don't
just,
know.
I don't know. I was just curious about that. So
He's got
Eric's-
options.
Eric's right, by the way, when he says that, what you get is you're in federal prison, you get 15% off the top for good behavior, and then there are other credits you can get for
your
work
job.
and various other things.
Do you get
so
more-
all of this counts.
Do you get more? Can you take several jobs and get more credit?
I don't know that you can take some. You
Yeah.
work,
Hey,
you
man,
work
how many
20
jobs
hours
you
a
got?
day. I don't. I don't think you can do that.
Reese from Miami. Diddy looks he looks happy. Why in every clip he's smiling? And you ask what you think he's gonna do when he gets out. He's gonna write a book. He's gonna do a little documentary about his glorious time in the federal penitentiary. He looks like everything's
it was obvious this wasn't something meant for the outside world. This was raw, unfiltered reality from deep inside the concrete belly of a prison built to break people. And the figure at the center of that footage, once untouchable, once dripping in power, now looked like someone who had been crushed under a world that no longer feared him. The walls were filthy, the lights flickering like a dying pulse, and the air looked heavy enough to choke on. Everything about the clip screamed desperation. The camera shook as it darted through a narrow hallway, catching glimpses of peeling paint, rusted doors, and inmates' faces carved with hostility or indifference. Every corner radiated that thick tension, the kind only places full of violence and secrets seem to generate. Then the image shifted, and the figure appeared. Not the larger-than-life icon people once worshipped, not the unstoppable empire builder with 1,000 eyes watching the world for him, just a broken man hunched on a thin mattress, breathing like each inhale was a punishment. He looked hollow, like something had crawled into him and scraped out everything recognizable. His hands trembled, his shoulders shook, and he kept glancing toward the cell door.
TMZ have basically leaked videos of Diddy in prison at the Fort Dix that have come out by somebody secretly filming him. Either Diddy has a partnership with TMZ still, which I don't believe really exists anymore after TMZ exposed Diddy for the alcohol saga. But this means that people inside the prison are secretly taking videos of Diddy and then selling it to the press in some kind of way and making money. Because how are these videos of Diddy at the Fort Dix being released? And how do TMZ have the exclusive access? I have so many questions. Hey guys, it's Murad Murali. Hope you guys are all doing well today. Daily and consistent content. Do subscribe. It's just one click. That's all you guys have to do. Head over to my Instagram today. How about that? At Murad_Murali, I've just dropped a new, dump of me in Paris. Definitely go check that out, guys. This video is quite interesting because initially you have Diddy shown, I believe, in the chaplain or, around some books. You can see that somebody is filming this man secretly. Then you can see him walking through the hallway. And honestly, it was a jump scare for me when I saw Diddy walking through the hallway because his face, everything just looks very scary. That was the vision in court. However, I do see from this video that he actually looks far worse. I'm not even going to lie to you. It's just the way that he was walking and seen, I don't know, it just looks kind of scary, like somebody's kind of walking after you. He's wearing these grey joggers, walking quite slowly, like it's kind of some kind of dark figure. Somebody is, coming up behind him, but who is filming him? He's smiling with this man, as you can see. And then initially, this man either is laughing with him or is telling him off in some kind of way because Diddy's face immediately drops from that smile. And you can see that this man continuously is pointing at Diddy. Either they have an issue, a problem, Diddy is seen in some kind of fight conversation. The person behind continues to walk on, and then you just see them still talking. So it just could be a normal conversation between two people. I don't think it was anything intense because they walked together off. But at the same time, I wouldn't be surprised if it was something intense. Who is filming this? I have so many questions. Who is filming this video of Diddy? And how did you even get a telephone or a phone in the prison? How did you even access that? Because I'm pretty sure as a prisoner, you wouldn't be allowed. If it's not a prisoner doing this, is it an officer? Is there an officer then filming on their phone? Secretly Diddy, in a chaplain or walking down the hallway talking to prisoners? Then that officer is secretly going to TMZ and selling this and saying, look, I've got this of this A-lister. How much money do I get from this? TMZ sends him a few $1,000s. Is this what's going on? Because I don't get it. This is not the first time that TMZ have gotten pictures of Diddy, but now they've got videos of this man walking down the damn hallway, which means the man opposite Diddy walking right beside him is secretly filming him and selling it to the press. Diddy ain't gonna like this. He's gonna be fuming. I don't think this is a P. Diddy TMZ partnership for them to put out these videos because Diddy does not want to be seen in this fashion anyways. So who was able to do this? What kind of connection does TMZ have, guys, that they can actually find an officer and do this? Or maybe the officer went to them. If that means that Diddy has people around him secretly filming him without his knowledge. That it's some kind of jump, some kind of setup, and it's going to bother him. In the videos, guys, he just looks very scary to me. Like, I don't know what it is. Maybe he's aged terribly in prison. He seems quite stressed. Everything is grey. And he just seems different. I feel like even if the man, it's not even just the hair. Even if he just changed his hair back to black when he comes out of prison, there's something so different about him. Like his eyes are more sunken in. His face is more drawn. Perhaps
Or as if expecting someone to burst in at any second. And based on the whispers that followed this footage's release, that fear wasn't paranoia, that fear was survival. The clip caught him stumbling around the cramped cell, pacing with the kind of nervous twitch that comes from too many sleepless nights. The mattress was torn, the floor stained with things no one wanted to name, and the tiny sink leaked continuously, a slow metallic drip echoing through the footage like a countdown. This wasn't luxury, this wasn't influence, this wasn't control, this was punishment in its purest, most suffocating form. Then the footage cut to another angle, clearly taken from a hidden device. The figure sat on the floor, knees pulled tight to his chest, rocking slightly, the kind of rocking someone does when their mind is desperately searching for a safe place, even if that place doesn't exist anymore. His eyes were swollen, his lips cracked, and his voice, barely audible, kept mumbling something the microphone couldn't quite capture. Whatever it was, it didn't sound hopeful. Outside the cell,
it is weight loss that he could possibly gain back. I don't think that he will look the same when he gets out of prison and he tries to fix himself. I think that there is some kind of permanent damage here to the face. It was only a couple of days ago it was reported that there were man orgies going on at the Fort Dix. Is that going to be the next video? Are we going to get ourselves a Diddy tape, sex tape coming out in some kind of way, swinging on a chandelier at the Fort Dix, in the bath orgies, baby oiled up, singing to R. Kelly? I believe I can fly. I believe I can touch the sky. I think about it every night. Okay, you know what I mean. You get the gist, child. You can just see him just going back and forth, guys, slipping and sliding across the bathroom tiles, because now we've seen this man walking up and down that hallway with his 40,000 teeth and his sunken eyes, talking to some prisoner, and then the man is pointing his finger. I don't even know what that man could be talking about, but it's just very bizarre to me that we've got different stages of Diddy now just all coming out. And of course, Diddy will catch wind of this. That's why he was having those three-way calls, and then people were telling him about, you know, TMZ. He probably will find out about this in the next three-way call, the two-way call, whatever he's meant to speak to, and they're going to be telling, look, TMZ got videos of you. These officers are filming you. These prisoners are filming you. Like, who do you, like, I need to ask you guys, who do you think filmed Diddy? Do you think it's a prisoner? Do you think it's an officer? I think it's probably an officer. The Fort Dix is corrupt because we never saw anything like this at the MDC. We didn't see any videos, pictures getting leaked of him at the MDC. Yes, it's a high security prison and Fort Dix is, you know, far lower, but nothing came out. So suddenly now TMZ have this backlogged catalog of Diddy in prison and are just dropping in files and releasing it and everything, and it does look like he's in some kind of serious conversation with that man, or that man was telling him off, because that smile that he had, you know, immediately dropped. So Diddy is aging, he's getting older, and these prison videos are only going to keep coming out. He's having a time at the Fort Dix, alcohol issues, can't move from unit to unit, these, you know, three-way call telling off and prison extension, you know, given to him. It just seems that moving to the Fort Dix was not a good news for this man. He thought that, yeah, look, this is what Diddy asked for. Judge Arun said, okay, I'm going to give it to you. You want to move to this prison? You can do that. And lo and behold, you're now doing more prison time because you're at this unit. Had you stayed at the MDC, you would have been like, none of this would have came out. Your prison time would have been clean. We would have been speaking about you. We would have been moved on, but we can't move on now because you wanted to move to a low security prison. You got into trouble, and now TMZ are releasing all of this stuff for clicks and at your expense when your trials ended, and you can just basically rot in prison until you get out. You could have had that, but unfortunately no. And if they've got videos of you doing this, I don't even know what videos TMZ might have, child. Because them man orgies that are going on with them handsome men, if Diddy is colluding with these people, that you are like, hello, like somebody's gonna film that. Somebody's gonna film Diddy doing all that. TMZ's gonna get it, and it's gonna be a whole tape situation. Like, absolutely, it's gonna be scandalous for something like that, a Diddy sex tape to drop like that, talking about him doing the freak offs, and then you got a tape of you. Whew, I don't know if I might get to that, guys. Maybe I'm just jumping and, you know, jumping conclusions. I don't know. Perhaps I am, but I just find this whole story to be random because I didn't think that we would be speaking about Diddy walking up and down the hallway and just been seen in different angles in prison. I don't know who had all of this information of him wearing these beanie hats and, you know, picking out stuff. Who's filming him, guys? Because I don't understand. I also feel that the people next to the cameraman are prisoners, so maybe it is another prisoner. I don't know what's going on. TMZ have got a rat in the prison.
Voices erupted, shouting, metal hitting metal, the guard tower alarm blaring like a scream. The figure snapped upright instantly, body stiff, head turning toward the noise with raw terror carved into every muscle. He knew the sound. Everyone in a place like that knew the sound. It meant danger was moving, fast, unpredictable, hungry. Then the clip cut abruptly to another moment. Later that same night, the figure was being escorted by two guards. Wrists locked in cuffs, head bowed, the guards looked impatient, almost annoyed, dragging him through the hallway as he begged them to slow down, to take him somewhere safer, to listen. But the guards didn't care. Their job wasn't compassion, their job was control. He stumbled once, then again, knees buckling until he collapsed completely. The guards yanked him back to his feet with zero hesitation. No sympathy, no pause, just force. And that image, the former titan of influence being dragged like a discarded object, spread across the internet.
Okay, to start with, toilet wine turns out is a misnomer. The toilet is mostly a hiding place, and God knows it is not really wine, right? And Sean Diddy Combs is not the first prison inmate to get busted with it, allegedly. But Diddy may be the first to have once owned a vodka brand worth upwards of $1 billion. That would be Ciroc, which sold officially earlier this year for a fraction of that price. Ciroc is distilled 5 times from the finest French grapes, or so it claims. Toilet wine, on the other hand, is a fermented combo of Fanta, sugar, and apples. And though there are many variations, they are all alcoholic, which is the point, and all strictly off limits in lockup. But TMZ is reporting that Diddy has been caught with the stuff, this week in fact. He did have a birthday on Tuesday and was going to be moved to a new unit apparently as punishment, but the officials changed their minds according to the report. But that still leaves the question of Diddy's alleged newfound sobriety, which he made such a big point of emphasizing when he was sentenced, and whether this will have any impact on that sentence. Joining me now with his hard-won expertise on all of this is our friend Gene Borello, a former mob enforcer and ex-federal inmate. Gene, I have been dying to talk to you about this. Every time I hear toilet wine, I keep thinking, do you stir it in the toilet? And if so, how is it clean? And how on earth do you make a duty? But I have come to learn, no. So for our audience, can you explain what it is and how it's made?
Yeah, so it's called hooch. Basically, is different ways to make it. You can make it with orange peels. You can make it with sugar. It is all different ways. But what a lot of people don't know, and why it is serious in prison, it can blow up. So if you don't know what you're doing and you don't let it breathe, as they say, it could actually be like a bomb. So it actually can blow up and everything will spray everywhere. But it can get you drunk, and it could also land you in the hole. So, I mean, I don't know as far as them saying he's going to move him out of the unit. I know it's a very serious ticket. I know he could lose his phone, he could lose commissary, and he could lose visits, and also maybe go to the SHU for up to 30 days or maybe more.
So, I mean, that's all serious stuff. I keep wondering about the sentence. Do you not think it's possible, especially since he campaigned, in his sentencing, that he was getting sober? He'd been working, on a sobriety at the MDC. Now he's at Fort Dix. And if this is true, if the report's true, might they say, well, screw it. You're not getting your 15% off your federal sentence?
Right. So it don't work like that. But every ticket in the feds, if it's a certain degree ticket, you will lose some good time. We call it good time. In New York State and federal prison is two different. You could actually lose your good time in New York State or any state prison and get your good time back. The feds, once you lose it, you can't get it back. So if he does lose 20 days, 40 days for this, he cannot get it back, or whatever they recommend for him to lose, because they will recommend days to be lost on this kind of ticket.
Okay, let's get back to making it. I know you gave me the ingredients.
Right.
I want you to tell me how you put them together and the burping, which is interesting. But before you do that, how is the toilet involved? Because in my mind, whenever I heard toilet wine, I imagine an inmate stirring, the hooch in the toilet bowl, but that's not it.
Right.
So explain what actually happens.
Well, they usually get a big garbage bag, like a big clear bag. I've seen it done in a garbage bag, and they'll put it in the toilet and then let it sit in there. You know what I mean? They won't actually put it in the toilet bowl. You get what I'm saying? With the water. You know what I mean, right? You're not actually stirring it in the toilet bowl.
In the tank, yeah. So it's in a bag and it's hidden in the toilet tank, not in the toilet bowl.
Not in the toilet bowl.
And that's just.
It takes a while to make.
Good distinction.
It takes a while to make. It's not just an overnight.
Faster than wildfire. Another portion of the leaked footage showed the figure curled on the mattress again, clutching his side as if something inside was tearing. Rumors started instantly. Some said he'd been attacked. Some said he'd been threatened. Others insisted someone inside was deliberately starving him of sleep. And based on the shaking hands, the flinching, the haunted eyes, none of those theories felt exaggerated. Then came the most disturbing part of the leak. The camera angle shifted to a high corner of the cell, capturing him in the middle of a panic spiral. He pressed his palms to his temples, pacing in frantic circles, muttering to himself, stopping occasionally to stare directly into the camera like he knew he was being watched, even if he didn't know where the lens was. His breathing quickened, his chest heaved, and he dropped to his knees again, slamming his fists against the floor in a mix of rage, fear, and despair. This wasn't someone acting. This wasn't someone exaggerating. This was someone whose world had finally swallowed him whole. The leak kept circulating. More clips, more angles, more proof of how completely his old life had shattered. There was a moment where he tried to talk to another inmate through the bars, his voice trembling, pleading for some kind of understanding or alliance. The other inmate just stared back silently before walking away without a word. Isolation at its purest. Another clip showed guards yelling at him to stand up. He didn't respond, not because he refused, but because he couldn't. His body looked too drained to obey. One guard kicked the bars, screaming for him to move, and the echo ricocheted across the cell like thunder. He jerked in fear and forced himself up, but his legs wobbled like they were barely holding him. Every second of this footage chipped away at the myth of the man he used to be. As the leak spread, commentators everywhere tried to decode what exactly was unfolding. Some claimed his mental state had collapsed completely, others said he was deliberately being targeted inside. Still others believed the footage was leaked on purpose by someone who wanted the world to witness his downfall. Whatever the truth, the message embedded in those grainy clips was unmistakable.
Sean Diddy Combs' life behind bars is coming to light. In a photo taken from inside New Jersey's Fort Dix Federal Correctional Institution on November 23rd, the rapper wears a gray pullover and sweatpants as he walks down a corridor. With his graying hair and goatee in full view, Combs appears to smile at a fellow inmate standing off camera. And in a separate video published by TMZ, the footage of which E! News could not independently verify, Combs is seen in the same prison-issued garb, as well as a dark jacket and yellow knitted beanie while working inside the facility. Combs was transferred to Fort Dix from the Metropolitan Detention Center in New York in late October after he was sentenced to 50 months in prison on prostitution-related convictions. During his first week at Fort Dix, his spokesperson denied, quote, false and reckless reports that the 56-year-old drank alcohol created behind bars by inmates. Combs' rep told People magazine in a statement published November 9th, he has not violated any prison rules. His sobriety and self-discipline are priorities, and he is taking them seriously. The spokesperson added, we ask the public and the press to give him the benefit of the doubt, the privacy to focus on his personal growth, and the grace to move forward in peace. Combs is slated to be released on June 4, 2028, according to...
The environment had become a cage built entirely from consequences. The leaked footage exposed more than fear. It exposed the truth about the place he now lived in. A place with no mercy, no second chances, no softness. The cell was dark, damp, and smelled like rust and sweat. Inmates screamed at all hours. Fights broke out constantly. Guards barked orders like they were commanding animals. That kind of environment wears down the mind fast. Some crumble in weeks, some in days, and judging by the footage, he was already breaking. Every frame was a reminder. Power can't buy safety. Influence can't bend steel bars. Wealth can't silence the screams echoing down prison hallways. In that world, everyone is equal. Equal in fear, equal in suffering, equal in consequence. People are demanding oversight, demanding intervention, demanding accountability, demanding that those responsible face consequences. But inside those walls, where cameras don't reach and reports can be rewritten, the reality remains unpredictable and dangerous. Some sources claim the inmate has now been placed under closer supervision. Others say they've been moved to a different wing. A few insist nothing has changed at all. The conflicting reports only add to the chaos, leaving everyone in the dark, unsure of what the truth is anymore. But one thing is certain, the leaks shattered whatever protection the institution thought it had. The images broke the narrative, the videos burned the illusion, and the public will not forget what it saw: the bruises, the filth, the fear, the violence, the abandonment. As the footage continued leaking, one final clip surfaced. The figure sat against the wall, staring at nothing. His eyes were glassy, unfocused, his breathing shallow. He blinked slowly, like someone who had lost track of time and didn't care to find it again. And for a brief moment, the camera captured the purest, clearest glimpse of the truth. This was no longer a legend, no longer a mogul, no longer a symbol of anything. This was just a human being brought to the breaking point by a system that devours the weak and crushes the fallen. And behind those bars, behind that rusted door, with that single flickering light overhead, his new reality had only one rule: survive, if you can.